DESIblitz.com।
चोर ज्यादा पढ़ लिख लेगी तो लगन कौन करेगा?
अपने मर्द को खुशी करना सीखी ले, नहीं तो
घर आता से तो बहुत सवार हो जाइए मामा।
Now I can call on stage for the Q&A the gorgeous and extremely talented Tannishtha Chatterjee. The beautiful young baby of Parched, Lehar. And the enigmatic Chandan, Anand. Yes.
Before I start with my first question, Tannishtha, are we expecting a call from Shah Rukh Khan today?
I wish.
Could each of you tell us one thing that you found difficult and one thing that you found easy when making the film?
What I found difficult was getting finance for the film. That's why it was very important for me to introduce you to the people who made this film possible. The one thing that I found easy was making this film because I think I had the best cast and crew that I could have ever dreamed of. And you always want the best crew and cast for your film, but this actually happened in Parched with me, and I'm extremely grateful for that.
It was all easy. I don't know the difficult part. I mean, except that, you know, we had a very tough schedule. We had to wake up very early in the morning to get all those tattoos done every day. So like 3 a.m., like unearthly hours. So that was the tough part. But the fun part was working with an amazing cast, like, you know, actors love good co-actors, and an amazing crew, and a dream of a director. You know, you get a script which is so layered and well written for all the characters, and then on set, the kind of space and time that Leena gave us, and the attention and love as actors, you know, to explore our characters on set, that was like really amazing. So we could bring in so many new things, and so it was like a dream process.
I think Janki is like one quiet and reserved character, so I think it was very difficult for me to, you know, stay quiet. So yeah, that was the difficult part, but I think Leena made it all easy, I think, for all of us. So I think it's a big credit to her, and everything was easy because of her.
Playing this character as an actor, it was easy for me under her direction. But now the difficulty is to understand the character which I have played. Yeah, because it's so layered. It's my 4th screening which I'm watching it. And the relationships between men and women, and to even understand my character, it's becoming difficult each and every time I watch the film. Yeah, and that's the good part of this film. It's beautiful, and every time I'm learning something new about myself and even about my character.
Leena, one of the fascinating features of the film is the way it has been shot, particularly the beautiful visuals to support the characters and their poignant stories. Can you share some of your experiences of collaborating with the likes of Russell Carpenter?
My previous 2 films were shot by my husband, who's a brilliant DP too. But this time, since we were producing the film, he chose to do production full time, and he said, I'm going to get you a DP that I really look up to, and that's how Russell came into the picture, and he was really generous. He reacted very sensitively to the script, and I always wanted this film to be very beautiful. I didn't want it to be dark. I wanted to celebrate these women, and I think Russell brought an eye. You know, sometimes when you live in a certain, you forget to see the beauty in it. So he got that eye from the outside, and I think his camera was literally caressing everything, and he saw so much beauty in that, and he got the soul of the film so beautifully onto his camera that he literally was my eyes, and he just justified it so beautifully. And it was a really huge learning experience for me working with him.
What attracted you to this role of Ronnie?
Some of my travels that when I was doing other films in the same region, and actually it happened so that I was telling Leena one day over dinner about some of those stories, and that's how the film's idea started. And she said, "Oh my God, take me to that village." And so it was really an organic process for me to be a part of this film. And I mean, apart from that, any actor who's given a script like this and a role like Rani's would not think twice, because there are very few roles which are so layered and so complex written for women. So as an actor, there was absolutely no ways, because here is a character who's very uptight and who's very proper on the front, and yet she has desires which are like sort of inside her. She wants to express herself, but she's not able to, but she has this secret lover. So there's so much going on. There's a lot of tragedy, and yet she triumphs and overcomes. It's a dream role.
Leena, you've stressed this film is not a feminist film, but in fact it's celebrating these women. While shooting for this film, how did the men react in these villages? Did any funny incident happen or occur?
The film, it's a film, it's now in the public domain. I just want to underline, it's not just a feminist film, it's a very humanist film. And what I'm trying to say in the film is not a gender blame game. It's about both the sexes, and it's about looking at things that we have passed off, the conditioning that we are all under, you know, just to question that. I remember when I shot the scene with Champa where she's dragged out of the village, there was a spot boy in the unit who came to me, he was crying and he held my hand and he said, "Ma'am, what you're showing is so true, this happened in my village."
Why is the film called Parched? I mean, the environment is parched, but how do you relate?
These souls are parched for liberty, for freedom, for sexuality. So Parched had many, many dimensions to it as, so I don't know, and it just stuck, and I could never find a more powerful title for the film. Thank you.
Leena, but you did toy with the idea of naming the title Sex in the Village.
No, I didn't toy with the idea. No, that was the starting point for the film.
Okay.
In a conversation, like Tannishtha was saying, when we started talking, I said, you know what, let's make Sex in the Village. So we started off thinking we were going to make Sex in the Village, but then as we expanded the conversation, it got more and more complex, and we had Parched.
Okay, fantastic.
So maybe Sex in the Village is Parched.
And a really liberating, free ending to the story, which was really happy. Why did you decide to give Gishan, who was the only positive male character, a sad end to his story?
It's not ended. There may be a new beginning there, and that's how I see life.
I was going to say the film finishes on a crossroad. So are there any plans for a sequel?
You never know. Life is a crossroads. So you never know. I could go left or right.
Rani gets a Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh, right, yes.
That's the name of the next one.
Next one, okay, fantastic.
You, Susan Dolan, has already been a huge help.
No, we have social media. What can we all do in the audience then?
Spread the word, and if you believe in the film, it's not a compulsion, but if this film really meant anything to you, spread the words, make more people see it. That's why we made the film, to create a dialogue. Talk about the film, whatever you felt, positive, negative, let's create a dialogue. Let's talk about these issues. It's really high time we talked about it. We come from a country that created Kama Sutra, but we're not allowed to talk about sex. So, I mean, let's get out there and talk about all these things. It'll really, really destroy all the repression from where all the violence and hatred comes.
I noticed some slight lesbian undertones throughout the film. Can you explain your thinking behind that, please?
Actually, as a writer-director, I didn't intend it as a lesbian undertone. As Indians, we tend to touch each other a lot. So that's one thing as far as you're talking throughout the film. And if you're talking specifically of the scene between the two women, for me that scene was about touch. For me, touch is a very important theme, because in these times when we are all concentrating on our mobiles and we're forgetting to touch and hug each other. And I feel touch is a vitamin more powerful than any pill you can take. It can bring you to life. And so through touch, I wanted to create a dialogue between the two women where they communicate to each other their pain and literally their life stories. And for me, that seeing the women become sisters at one point, they become friends at one point, they become mother-daughter at one point. So for me, that was the interpretation, but like I said, it's a film, and now you interpret it the way you want.
So it's a question for the actors. When you accepted this role, you'd have to understand how village life is and, you know, the mentality of how women grew up in the village. So what research did you do to find out this?
For me, I had worked in those regions before, and I mean, actually Rani's character was someone that I had sort of met, like it's loosely based on somebody I had met. But for this particular film, we had a dialect coach who worked with us before we started shooting, like a few days before we were working on the dialect and everything. And of course we were spending a lot of time in the villages and looking at women and sitting with them, cooking, trying to figure out how, milking goats, yes, or trying to figure out how they wear their costumes.
My process was different because these guys were shooting before me, so I joined a little late. If I would say how I prepared my character, I had a couple of readings with ma'am, and in that reading, whatever psyche I was able to catch of Rajesh, I did that. And yeah, if we get to spend time in that village and meet people, those who are from the same place, it really helps. But if you catch the psyche, then I feel that's the most important thing, because the dialect, your body language, if you get that, those are just the facades. But I feel for a character, if the psyche and no rasas in Hindi we say, so the emotions are everywhere the same.
The film dealt with quite a few different taboos, I felt. What was the reaction like, and what has the reaction been like so far in India and also here?
Like I was saying, that we need to talk about it, and that's exactly the reaction I got. And as far as we've traveled almost half the world already with the film, the reaction that I've got is it's their story everywhere. And that's a bit depressing for me, because I thought in the progressive societies these stories don't exist anymore, but that's not true. And that's not very, I'm not happy to know that. We just learn to hide these things better, I think. So really, really, world over, we need to talk about a lot of things.
चोर ज्यादा पढ़ लिख लेगी तो लगन कौन करेगा?
What's been their reactions to the films, because you have touched on sort of sensitive subjects per se, and how have you found the reaction that you've got back from the people nearest and dearest to you?
Let me start with my very family. My mom jumped up before the film got over. She was watching it with 5 other people, and she started clapping and looking at them and saying, "What the hell are you doing? Clap!" Isn't this amazing? My daughter made this. So starting from there, they are very, very proud that I made a film like this, and it's been really nice.
Yes, my mom saw it, my sister and my brother-in-law, they've seen it. Because it's been screened in various parts of the world, and my dad was never in that part of the world, but otherwise he would have also seen it. And everyone, I mean, everybody is so proud of the film, and they've all said it's one of the best films that I have been a part of, and that I should keep working with Leena Yadav as Bajaj.
She was actually crying. My dad and my mom, they saw the film together, and they started crying, and especially my dad, because you know he's very, very, very like for me he's very concerned, and so he started crying. The time when Kulab starts beating me and all, and he starts crying at that time, my mom was crying. So they're very happy and very proud of me. So I think that's the best thing, you know, to see a big smile on their face. I think that's the best thing I can
you know?
I stay in Mumbai and my family is in Delhi. So we are a conservative Punjabi family. So my father was visiting and luckily one screening was happening. So I asked ma'am, can I get my dad? So he came, he watched it, and I was a little skeptical. He find the film. I asked him, he said, lovely film. And he went to her and he said, you were amazing, beautiful film. So I was happy, I was glad. So yeah, the reactions were good because I think people will take it as a film rather than like making any judgments.
Can you join me in congratulating Team Parched, Leena Yadav, Tannishtha Chatterjee, Lehar and Chandan Anand.